Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to touch up one topic that, I have to admit is the first time I discussed about here in the channel. And I'm talking about flashes. Especially today we are going to talk about the Lux series by GODOX. And in this first video we are talking about the Lux Senior. This super amazing vintage looking flash that is going to be really compact once it's closed, and when it's open, be sure it will catch up attention of all people around you. The Lux Senior is a flash that you can use for any type of digital camera because it just has one pin, so you can exchange. Doesn't matter which camera you have, but it can be used for film camera as well. So it's definitely a plus. But let's be honest, when we talk about the flash, we are a little bit scared about, right? I can understand you. And if you are a guy that has access to a digital camera, I feel like it could be a good way to test it out and give that additional accent to your photography. Because at the end, even if you made a mistake, you can always retake the picture and check it out immediately what happened when you're going to change some of the settings. But talking about settings, this specific flash, as well as the Lux Junior that we are going to review in a different video, allows you to use it both in manual as well as in auto mode. The auto mode is pretty straightforward. It starts with a basic setting of 100 ISO and 2.8 aperture of your lens, and then it automatically takes care of all the distance that is between the flash and the subject, so that it can match and adjust what's the power of the flash itself. But what happens in case you want to change the value of ISO and aperture? Well, wait a moment, we are going into the field and test it out later on. But let me keep talking just a little bit more of this flash. So this flash comes in black, but recently GODOX released new color as well. So please check the links in the description below to see which one can match your camera or, your preference in general. It has an internal battery that can be recharged via USB-C. And next to the USB-C port, you can also have the port to attach a cable directly to your camera. So in case you have one of these old film cameras, it's perfect. As I was mentioning, it has two main modes, or I should say three, because the first one is auto mode. The second one is manual mode, where through the dial that is on the back, it will help you to set up what's the exact power that you need on your flash in order to illuminate correctly the scene. The third mode, if we want to call this way, is that you can use this flash as a slave. That's why on the back, next to the off button selector, you have S1 and S2, so you can choose which of the two you prefer. Well, without further ado, let's jump in to some tests outside. The first subject, the first guest, is this Bambi, and we're going to shoot without flash and then with flash. So without flash, we're actually shooting at 2.8 and 1/3 of the second. We are about a meter far from the subject. Next, we will try the GODOX, and we will try first of all in auto. Auto means when we have our 100 ISO and 2.8 aperture, so like we are now, we just need to establish more or less what will be the distance, and it's about a meter, so we can start this way, and this is the result, as you can see. Then we are going to shoot in manual. So following the instructions in the flash, I can determine how far is the subject from me, and as I was saying, is about 1 meter, 1.5 meters, and my ISO is 100. So I will select 1.5 meter or so from the subject, and with 2.8 aperture, my flash, it says that I have to shoot at 1/16, 1/8 of the power, and this is what we are actually going to do with 1/8 first, and 1/16. Okay, next, well, we actually want to change settings. So in this case 2.8 aperture is pretty good, but we want to change it a little bit, and let's say we are going to have 8 as an aperture. Turn off the flash, and if I'm going to shoot, let's keep 1/30th of a second. Well, this is what I have. So we take advantage of the flash and go manual, and we say there's still 1.5 meter, and in this case our aperture is 8, as we said. So the power that we need is between full and half. Let's start with half first. This is the result, and let's move to full. Pretty good, right? What happens if instead we want to go to automatic? Well, we start 2.8, ISO 100, and just keep growing. So instead of 2.8, if it was 4, we use double for ISO, 200. If it was 8, we use 400 as ISO. And let's try to see how is it. Let's put auto, and let's change the ISO to 400, yes. So to stop, 1 second, and let's push the ISO button, and let's go to 400. So we are also adding noise, especially for this type of camera. And I kept a 30th of a second of the shutter speed. So what happens if I'm going to change the shutter speed? Well, of course, it just helps on how much light around it comes inside. So if I go back to manual, and instead of 1/30th of the second, I'm going to keep 8 as a shutter speed, as a aperture, but going up to, say, 1/15th. But I can have enough light. But of course we are going to pay the fact that if, for example, we don't have a tripod, it would be difficult to manage with lower shutter speed. So the next subject would be the statue, that it's in a pretty dark environment. So we will shoot as we did before, fully manual without flash, auto, and manual flash. So our flash is off. We try to, with F8 and 1/30th of the second, that it's more or less the speed that it's kind of easy to control, keeping the camera by hand. And this is the results. So let's go to auto,
and again with we keep the 400 ISO that we have kept this time. And then we go to manual. With manual, we say that our distance is more or less 3 meters at 400. With F8, it means that we have to shoot full. And this is the result. If we go back on the 100 ISO and simply repeat the whole process, but opening the aperture to allow a little bit more light coming in. This is f2.8 30th of a second. We're going to turn it on auto and 100 ISO f2.8. And we go to manual. Again, we know that we are about 3 meters distance. Our ISO is 100, and with 2.8 again is about 1/2. So let's do half. And this is the result.
Okay, so does it mean that flash usually you need to use when it's dark outside just to illuminate the scene? No, not at all. That's why, for example, in the pictures that you are actually looking at, I used this flash together with the Sigma ST4 outside when it was still bright, just to give that additional accent to the scene itself. So, what do you think about this GODOX Lux Senior? Is this something that you are interested in? Are you into flash photography? For me, it was something a little bit new, as probably most of you, I was scared as well, but I'm always was interested in how flashes could work. I used in the past the most common Iono one or Canon one, and well, I was happy with the results, but I have to be honest, I fell in love with the design of this one. And despite having a little bit less flexibility once mounted on the camera, because you can't tilt up. So in this case, I can recommend you to utilize it with a cable or a wireless receiver transmitter set. Well, you can still get some good results, some good photos. And again, try something different from probably what you are actually shooting every day. And for this reason, please let me know in the comments below what is your style, and if you are using a flash, which flash, hopefully one of this one. Let me know what's your opinion about this. And again, if you have any tip and tricks for the community to get some suggestion on how to get the best from a flash itself. So that's all from me for today. As I was mentioning, please check the links below if you want to get a little bit more information on this specific flash. And in case you have any question or any specific test that you want me to cover in the next video for the Lux Junior, but I can still cover part for the Lux Senior as well, because at the end it's just the shape that changed between the two, please let me know in the comments below. That's all for me for today. As usual, till next time, stay click. Bye!